In this video, we will take a look at numerical operators. Back in section 2, numerical data types, we saw that there are two main numerical data types in Python, integer and float. Integers are whole numbers without a decimal point, and floats are the numbers with decimal points. Numerical operators are special symbols that represent computations like addition and multiplication. The values the operator is applied to, so each value on either side of the symbol, are called operands. Let's head over to PyScripter and take a look at numerical operators. First up is addition. We can simply say 7 plus 5 and hit enter, and we get 12. 7 was our left hand operand, the plus symbol is our operator for addition, and 5 is the right hand side operand, and 12 is our result. We also have subtraction. We do 21 minus 16, we get 5. Multiplication is the asterisk. We do 10 multiplied by 32, we get 320. And we can do division, where we have 10 divided by 2. And we can see, even though we use integers, we will return a float of 5.0. Let's go back to the addition. We did 7 plus 5. Let's add in 0.0 for our 5 and hit enter. And we can see we have returned a float. So if either of our operands in an addition are a float is returned. The same goes for subtraction. We can do 21.0 minus 16 and we have returned 5.0. We have the same with multiplication. We have 10 multiplied by 32.0 and we have returned 320.0. We saw with division, when we did 10 divided by 2, we have returned a float. We can use floor division, which rounds down to the nearest integer. In this case, we are going to be returned 5. And that is simply doubling up on the division symbol. Now when I hit enter, we can see we have returned the integer 5. The percentage symbol defines the modulus operator. Modulus returns a remainder after the division. So if we had 10 modulo 3, 3 goes into 10 3 times with 1 remaining. So the modulus operator will return 1 in this instance. It is the remainder after the division. And of course, if we use a float, we'll use 3.0. We have returned a float of 1.0. If we did 10 modulo 2, there is no remainder, so 0 will be returned. 10 modulo 4 will return 2, because 10 divided by 4 is 2 with 2 remaining. We can use double asterisks for exponentiation, which is to the power of. So if we have 2 to the power of 4, we have returned 16, which is 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2. We also see when we use a float that we get a float returned. So far we have just used the numbers. We can also use variables. Let's create two variables that represent population. We'll call them pop1 and we'll set that equal to 3,500, and pop2 and we'll set that equal to 12,345 and hit enter. Now we can add these two populations together, pop1 plus pop2, and hit enter, and we have returned 15,845, which is the addition of our two populations. So instead of using the raw numbers, you can use variables that represent integers or floats. In this video, we saw the numerical operators in action. Numerical operators enable us to perform mathematical computations. We saw that when we use integers as both operands on the left and right hand side of the symbol, an integer was returned. The only exception to this was when we use the division symbol. Using the division symbol returned a float even though we used two integers. If one of the operands was a float was returned. We can also chain operators one after the other to create an equation. And we're going to look at equation precedence in the next video.